If your gramps gifted you an antique mirror for your confirmation ceremony that made you projectile vomit blood and glass, what would you do? Ed and Lorraine ran from evil once, and it's been chasing them ever since, patiently waiting for the most opportune time to possess their daughter and ruin their lives for good. In this How to Beat video, I'm gonna break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the baby mirror in The Conjuring: Last Rites. It's 1964. Ed and Lorraine Warren are down at the local curio shop listening to Victoria Granger's tale about a haunted mirror which she thinks had compelled her father to hang himself. He's in a better place now, or the demon dragged him to hell. The worst part? Now the witch's mirror is whispering to her. Victoria thinks that if she can sucker some Ghostbusters into investigating the paranormal activity, maybe, just maybe, the demon will start chasing them and forget about her. Good thinking. Why fight the demon when you can get a pregnant chick to do it for you? Seriously, Ed, man, she's carrying your baby, days away from giving birth. Are you insane? People stop driving motorcycles when they hear that they're gonna be fathers, and you're pimping your super pregnant wife out on exorcisms? Okay, honey, I'll be right outside. The shopkeeper is already dead. I think you can wait a week. Yeah, Victoria's in the line of fire, but this is somehow her fault, which makes it okay if we don't help her. For God's sake, whatever you do, at least don't touch the black mirror.
Dude, I'm totally tripping balls.
You just broke a cardinal rule, so now I can only expect that your vulnerable baby has been infected with pure evil. Your baby can hear you, recognize your voice, and audibly bond with you in your third trimester. For this reason, women are typically more careful about what sounds that they're exposed to. And here you are, touching what is effectively a live high-voltage wire. Downloading the entire found footage horror anthology from an incorporeal psychopath you think that you can fix with good vibes and empathy. Dumb. This isn't a little ghost girl playing with her dolls. Victoria's dad's sanity was so cooked by this demon that he felt he had no other choice but to go swinging. In the real world, we put killers behind bars or in the ground, for a reason which I'm sure you'll figure out soon enough. In all her fright, Lorraine's water broke. Hearing his wife screams, Ed heroically jumps into action, swooping her into his stang and nearly killing them all by driving on the wrong side of the road at night in the rain. They make it to the hospital, and while Lorraine's giving birth, the power goes out, completely unrelated to the monster crawling on the ceiling towards her. After a couple easy breezy pushes, her dead baby pops out.
What's going on?
Give me my baby.
Not gonna lie, that felt awful. But hey, God works in mysterious ways, right? Which is why after her desperate prayers, good guy God was like, all right, I'll give you your baby's life back. Guess the little one didn't make the cut for Heaven's Spartan program. They named her Judy Warren. All I'm gonna say is you better hang a few more of those crosses up around the house. It's now 1986, and the Warren family surprisingly seems to still be in good health, except for Judy's episodic daymares. Again, totally unrelated to the mirror monster. 22 years later, the Smurl family moves into West Pittston, Pennsylvania. For Heather's confirmation ceremony, she's gifted none other than the broken antique mirror from the curio shop. Apparently, Grandpa can fix the glass. Right. Then why hasn't he already? Because that is a giant crack. The only way you're fixing that is by buying a new one, in which case, you shouldn't have bought this old piece of shit. Hard to blame the Warrens for not going back to the mirror after the birth of their daughter. I sure wouldn't want to interact with it again. But man, for a couple of demonologists, it was kind of to just leave that spirit IED in the shop, which was inevitably going to be pawned off on an unsuspecting victim, like the Smurls. Totally unrelated light fixture failure. Thing's been walking out its bolts for 30 years. It's fine, everyone's okay, except for Heather. I'm sure Grandpa can fix that crack in her forehead too. It's now that we get an excerpt from something. After decades of investigating the supernatural, renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren had seen every possible case. But in 1986, in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, they would face an evil unlike anything that they had ever encountered. This case would devastate their family and bring their careers to an end. Based on a true story. Source? Trust me, bro. You're telling me Ed and Lorraine didn't stop after their baby was nearly killed? I'd have switched careers to something safer, like logging. Well, they kinda did. Ed and Lorraine haven't been taking actual cases. They've been talking about them. Paranormal influencers, if you will. Business ain't good, but that's about to change real soon once they get a real story on their hands. A couple of demon hunters' daughter gets pretzeled up like that chicken strangers things, and every door to the podcast circuit's gonna open up. Meanwhile, it's getting real creepy at Janet Smurl's house. An invisible force ripped the phone off of her. Electronics are randomly turning on and off, and there's literal demons jump scaring people. Don and Heather Smurl have also had enough of the creepy baby mirror and decided to toss it out with the trash the next day. I mean, Gramps still hasn't fixed that crack yet anyway. Surely that'll do the trick. No way that this thing magically reappears back in their bedroom. The trash truck crushes the mirror, and at the exact same time, Don projectile vomits blood everywhere. Blood and little pieces of broken mirror. I'll tell you what, the Smurls were actually pretty quick to compare notes and recognize the paranormal threat that they have on their hands. With no money to move the 8 of them into a hotel or a new home, especially with no guarantee that the hauntings will stop if they do, they've contacted Father Gordon about the situation, who passed on the case to Ed and Lorraine Warren. Unfortunately for the Smurls, with Ed's heart condition, he physically can't take another scare, so they're on their own, waiting to die in this creepy house. In another part of the house, Heather's scrubbing through the VHS footage to find evidence of the demon, particularly the part where she thought her sister blew out the candle. Turns out it was the demon playing tricks on her. You know how demons are, always blowing out your birthday candles. Why would anyone be sleeping alone and isolating themselves when they know that they're being haunted? Your sanity levels are gonna plummet if you're caught out in the darkness by yourself, leaving you vulnerable to attack. At least bunk up until the Warrens can get off the The Smurls' next move is to garner publicity, go into the local press, drumming up enough of a story that someone will hopefully take an interest and help. The hauntings are getting worse for the Warrens too. Judy's been seeing things a bit more than usual, a presence growing in the shadows of her mind. Nothing she's too concerned about, nor her boyfriend of 6 months, Tony. He proposed to her with the full blessings of her parents, despite Lorraine's warnings that they're not a normal family, which I guess is code for a demon's been trying to kill us all for decades. Tony does seem to be aware that Judy's been getting haunted, which somehow ties into that undercurrent of an ulterior motive that he's got going on. It's nothing the movie's been very explicit about, more of a why the f else would he be playing with fire like this? Later, Tony tells Ed why he left the police force. On his last domestic violence call, he showed up at the door, rang the bell, and was greeted by the barrel of a 12-gauge shotgun. The tweaker didn't hesitate to squeeze Trig on his face, but the round never went off despite the click. The only reason that Tony is alive right now is because of a soft primer strike. So with the epiphany that he'd never be able to taste chocolate chip ice cream again, he quit the force and married a girl that has a literal demon hunting her. Smart man. Since getting proposed to, Judy's out shopping for a wedding dress in a James Bond house of mirrors that I could have told you would have been a problem. You have a fragile psyche and thought, yeah, this claustrophobic, infinite mirrored room looks good. Tell her to size you up in a different room. What the hell are you doing here? It gets better. Brenda comes back, or so Judy assumes. Judy assumes the silent thing rifling around under her dress is in fact the chaotic loudmouthed Taylor after a wave of that signature paranoia washed over her. No worries, I'm sure the demon will poke her butt with a needle or something.
Ow.
They like to have fun. At least you didn't puke up a broken mirror.
She found it on a bed. He was there.
Hey, the rhyme worked. Nope, it didn't. Brenda and Lorraine just now jump into action from the other room after hearing her daughter screaming bloody murder a literal whole minute ago. They heard that scream, thought, she probably found a zit on her face. Then looked at the clock, tick, 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 for 60 seconds until the second scream. Well, Judy's sanity's cooked. The Smurl situation's escalating too. Nana took a tumble down the stairs, which the reporters are quite enthused about. Could it be the doings of the supernatural? Let's wait and see if any of the young daughters gets killed in a freak accident. Stay tuned on Channel 8, The Ocho. Despite the Smurl's hit interview on Larry King, nobody else has taken an interest in their case. So Father Gordon has heroically taken on the task of splish-splashing holy water labeled Perrier all over their house. Yep, that's the stairwell Mima did a somersault on. Get some Topo Chico on that stat. Hasn't anyone learned their lesson that you can't save people from demons? You can only take a ticket to be next in line. This is nature doing its thing, like lions and gazelles. Just f off and watch the show from a nice safe distance. I think he found the ghost room. The basement's steaming up with all that holy water. Father Gordon rushes to the next bigger church to inform the bishop. Wouldn't it be sick if churches were actually like police precincts, where the equivalent of SWAT teams were dispatched to exorcise demons? Like, if they were actually cool.
In nomine Patri,
Et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
And not full of dusty old celibate dudes wearing fedoras and apathetic grannies clacking on typewriters. I'm sorry, I just don't have any hope in them saving the Smurls. Now that Brad Hamilton dude from the barbecue who got bit on the face during an exorcism that he carried out, I'd hire that dude. Uh-oh, looks like Father Gordon got bumped up to first in line. That VIP experience. Bloody nose, random power cord getting pulled taut, the lady disappearing, the overwhelming feeling like you're being watched. The doors slam shut, the lights go out, and this worm pulls out his little wooden cross, which proceeds to immediately ignite. Gordon looks up. His eyes go black with possession, wraps the sweeper cord around his neck, and takes a leap of faith. Dude did not last long. Holy sh**.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Talk about a bad omen for what's to come. One of God's own disciples just got one tapped out of the gate. I think it's time to get the team back together. Ed, Lorraine, and Brad. Ed, Lorraine, and Tony arrive at the Smurls. The reporters can barely contain their excitement about the prospect of a televised exorcism.
May I speak to the one you know as Mr. Wriggles?
I can't blame them. Upon the late realization that demons like to isolate their prey, Lorraine tells Judy to stay behind with her father making flapjacks while she heads into the ghost room alone, because ghosts can't attack any of them anywhere at any time. Seeing as how Lorraine was spooked by the blood sink earlier, and Judy's fragile sanity is one boo away from precipitating entirely, they're gonna need to group hug their way through the exorcism like the kids in it. Chick's already shook seeing a baby toys walkout. Lorraine's upstairs tucking the ghost into bed and chasing sounds. Conducting her assessment, she concludes that there's 3 distinct spirits. They never lived in this house, but they did live here on the plot, back when it was farmland ages ago. A woman that had an affair, causing her husband to go batshit insane. The woman took her elderly mother as a shield and scurried into the basement. It didn't work out too well. The man chopped up both the wife and her mother with a fire axe. What's different is that these 3 spirits are a facade. Another evil spirit is blocking her visions, hiding behind the 3 of them, controlling them against the Smurls. While they're outside, her mother's voice whispers to Judy from the attic, baiting her. The woman, who was afraid of the children's toy, climbs up into the dark, creepy, clearly empty attic alone in search of the source of her mother's voice. She finds it. It's the Gothic mirror. Like mother, like daughter, Judy touches the glass. Then looking up with a flashlight, she finds the words "Miss Me" written in chalk. Annabelle. She quickly evacuates the attic in full tactical withdrawal to her mommy and daddy. But oh no, it's little Karen's voice coming from a dark, empty room. Surely this ghost can't sucker Judy twice with fake voices. Fool me once.
It fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
I'll tell you what, a complete dunce is a horror movie director's wet dream. And then she walked into this room and got scared. Then she walked into this room and got really scared. I mean, what did you think that you were gonna find? Fresh out the easy bake oven cinnamon coffee cake with streusel crumb topping? Either the victim is trapped in a pocket dimension during their frights, or everyone in this house is categorically deaf. Finally, Ed and Lorraine stop eating those soft, fluffy, delicious pancakes and come to their daughter's aid. Judy tells it all. There's something in the attic. Go on. I'm sure that they would like specifics, like the antique mirror and, that Annabelle doll thing that nearly broke your neck. You can imagine the Warrens' horror and guilt when they realized it was the same mirror that Lorraine touched all those years ago. Ed says it found us. Well, technically, it found the Smurls, and then you found the Smurls. But sure, Lorraine palms the mirror for the second time. What does it matter now? Lorraine's deep into menopause, and if Judy doesn't get folded in half by a ghost, she'll surely be scammed out of existence anyway, and Ed's a flight of stairs away from an ischemia. Speaking of, where the hell's Tony? The Warrens and Smurls hold a meeting, where the Warrens describe everything that they know about the mirror.
How do you get rid of it?
That's the attitude. For starters, you hire Brad Hamilton. The plan? Ed and Tony will drive the mirror back to the only place that can contain it, his secret home collection room. He warns not to touch it without gloves, like his dumb wife and daughter, that once they begin the ritual, there's no going back, and that anything can and most likely will happen.
By the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all other evil spirits who prowl through the world, seeking the ruin of souls.
Sick. When moving the mirror through the open attic, the spirit removes the straps and cloth, exposing itself to the eyes of Jack Smurl, sending him into a tizzy that nearly ends with him getting guillotined by the mirror. Tony's getting the car warmed up outside doing J-hooks in the SS, until he nearly runs over a little old lady crossing the street. Is getting crazy at the Smurls. Judy gets possessed, shoves Lorraine down the stairs, telepathically ragdolls the poor doggo. Lorraine's witnessing the axe murders of those old spirits firsthand until she's saved by Tony. Ed's having a heart attack, and Judy's hanging from the rafters. Ed and Tony try to haphazardly climb up the side beams and cut her down with a pocket knife. Bro, get under her and lift her up to relieve the tension. Jesus Christ, it's gonna take seconds that Judy does not have to cut through the rope with that knife. Yes, the floor has the soft spots, but there's boards right next to her that they could stand on. It's like watching someone panic shake an unconscious victim of a car accident. Instead of helping throw a board under her daughter so she could help them cut the rope, Lorraine does what's honestly far too common. Just drops to her knees and screams. Judy's finally resuscitated from CPR to witness the spinning mirror of doom. Ed gives his sermon, which fails to stop it. The mirror bum rushes them, cutting deep through Tony's leg. Ed's book burns, and it's really not looking good. Does the word of God mean nothing around here? I don't know how Ed and Lorraine had survived this long. Tony is getting absolutely, literally crushed by the entire Warren family's emotional baggage. It's now that Lorraine has an epiphany, a Neo in the Matrix moment. She tells them not to shut it out, not to run, but to face the agents, I mean demons, and fight them head on. This breaks the demon's spiritual spine, sending it packing with its tail tucked. Everyone lived happily ever after. The end. Ultimately, the exorcism was quite simple. You never back down. For that reason, I think the movie was beaten. Moral of the story, only buy cheap new plastic stuff from China.